Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, coming at you live to talk about the first episode of a brand new anime series called Mitsuboshi Colors, which is officially my cute anime girls doing cute things anime of the winter 2018 season, at least thus far. I checked into Ramen Daisuke Koizumi-san. I could not get through the whole first episode. I did not enjoy it. I checked out Yuro Camp, and I did get through the entirety of the first episode, and I had more criticisms. While I was hopeful that it was going to be good, I had more criticisms and dislike for it than I had expected, and so I'm not really going to continue with that. Might watch the second episode and see if it picks up at all. And I also watched Slow Start, which, I mean, it almost put me in a diabetic coma in a bad way. Like, it was suffocating to watch. I couldn't even get through the entirety of the first episode of Slow Start either. And these are all, I mean, there's a whole abundance of cute anime girls, kawaii anime girls doing kawaii things in this winter 2018 season. And I was just waiting for some show to hit me with the stuff that I like. The quirkiness, the comedy, you know, the humor, adorable characters doing adorable things, but in funny, quirky ways. And this show completely answered to all of my wants. It kind of visually reminds me of Mezzo DSA, for anyone who's ever seen that series. These three main girls and their surroundings, they look like they could be taken straight out of that show, you know. And they're going on cases. They have a little sort of girl group called Colors, and their mission statement is to keep the peace in our town. You know, go on cases, go on missions, and keep the peace. But they're three kids, you know, in like a park playground kind of thing. They have their own little sort of secret hiding spot. And it starts off hilariously with this panda-looking cat that they need to find because he's a little thief. The cat is making off with so many little things here and there, and one of them is googly-eyed glasses, which one of the three finds, and, you know, like in their little hideout. And so they start questioning, like, the, I guess, park security guy, Saito, and, like, it's supposed to be them going on missions and figuring things out for themselves, but they pointedly go and they ask the security guard, you seen a cat around here? They draw, like, the sort of leader of the group, Yui, is tasked with drawing the cat because she's actually seen the cat, apparently, I guess. And she draws, like, this monster. This, like, vampire bat creature. It looks nothing like a cat at all whatsoever. But eventually, the secondary member of the group, Kotoha, she figures out that, oh, well, we found some stuff back in our hideout. Maybe the cat's hiding back there. You know? And that proves to be true. This little panda kitten, it's adorable as all hell. It's been making off with little things here and there. And it brings it all back to their little hideout. So you have Kotoha, who is like the gamer girl, the weirdo. She like is fascinated by the potential for finding, you know, severed pinkies and things like that. But she's also a gamer, so when she achieves this, you know, achievement unlocked, like, oh, the cat that we're trying to find, the thief cat, is actually back at our hideout. She's like, I've won the level, I beat the game, you know. She does this a couple of times. And then you have, to round out the trio, Sachan, who is apparently completely obsessed with poop. Like, when Yui first opens the episode saying, hey, we got a dilemma, we got something we need to pay attention to, she's like, is it poop? You know? Toward the end of the episode, they have this riddle they have to unlock to open a safe that this Pops guy who runs like a local, you know, antiquary store kind of thing, it's all something he brought about because they needed a food dish for their little kitten. Spoiler warning, I guess. But it's adorable because he locks it in a safe and then he makes them go on a mission to follow this riddle and try to piece together what the riddle means so they can find the code to open the safe, and then they will get their prize, their treasure, which is the cat's food dish. But they are led to a, like, bakery because part of the riddle has something to do with a loaf that you can't eat, a pan, a loaf that you can't eat, something like that. And so you have Sachan going in, and immediately she's asking, is there crap in here? Is there something to do with poop? You know, like, everything, her first thought is, how does poop come into play? And it goes dead silent for a couple of seconds. She ends up coming back out. The other two girls did not go in with her. They decided to avoid it. And she's like, they yelled at me a lot. You know? And then before they end up running away, she runs over to the door and calls them all baka, you know, stupid heads. It is cute. It is funny. It is hilariously adorable. I absolutely, absolutely love this show. At one point, they make off. I don't like remember if they purchased it or if they just made off with it from the Pops Guy's store. They make off with this rocket launcher. And they're gonna like threaten Saito, the security guard or whatever, and so they have like a standoff. And at one point, they realize they can't fire it. It's probably like a toy. It's fake, whatever. He gets his hands on it. And he's like, "Oh, by the way, girls, did you know weapons like this have a safety?" And then he disarms the safety, and he's gonna fire it at them. And they're like, "Hold on, we gotta have a meeting right here. You know, we gotta figure out what we're gonna do." So they take off running. And it's absolutely hilarious because eventually the tables get turned on him all over again. He like shoots the thing, and Sachan prides herself on being, I forget what the terminology was, but like she can clasp her hands together in the wink of an eye and stop an oncoming blade or something like that. Like if one is like thrown or you know, like an arrow is fired at her, she'll stop it with her bare hands, according to her. And so when he fires this like toy rocket launcher, sure enough, she catches it. And then you have the sort of, you know, sadistic Kotaha. She's like, well, maybe if you throw it back at Saito, the security guard, maybe then it'll explode. Maybe it is actually genuine. You know, just because you caught it, you disarmed it. So they launch it back at him by hand, and it tags him right in the nuts. And he's down for the count. And, you know, it's just, the whole show was hilarious and adorable. And this is the kind of hilarious, adorable I love. I loved every dripping minute of this episode. It had me laughing out loud. Time and time again. The main three girls, the trio, are freaking adorable and hilarious. They are absolutely just endearing beyond reproach, and they're wacky and they're weird. Like I said, Kotoha, she's obsessed with, like, you know, severed limbs and heads and pinkies and whatever like that. You have Sachan, who's obsessed with poop, and then Yui, the leader of their group, is immensely timid and skittish. She breaks down crying under even the vaguest hint of a threat from Saito, the security guard, and he's just lamenting, you know, wow, she's the only proper girl, the only proper child in the bunch. It, you know, makes it that much harder to scold them when she's so responsive to it. And so as you can see, I had a ball with this episode. I was laughing incessantly. I thought it was absolutely, you know, adorable and hilarious. And this is the kind of show I need, you know, for this season. I just got off of watching Thrigatsu no Lion, the latest episode of that, season 2 of that, which has been spectacular. But the episode was properly intense, and I needed something. I mean, Classicaloid, I'd already watched Classicaloid early in the day Saturday, so this was the pick-me-up that came following on from watching Thrigatsu no Lion Saturday night. Sunday morning, I watched Mitsuboshi Colors, and it hit every spot I needed for laughs, for humor, for wackiness, for, you know, all that kind of stuff. And it's all in the mind of a child. I mean, these are three, you know, children, and they're played as such in such whimsical and beloved ways. You know, it's just in their imaginations, they think they can take on the world. You know, they're going to be the protectors, the keepers of the peace of their town. You know, and they're tasked by the local merchants, Pops, the store owner, and sometimes, you know, adversarially challenged by Saito, the sort of security guard, and all that kind of stuff. And it's just, I love all the character dynamics. I love all the character quirks. I love all of the humor. I love all of the like, it's broken up into 3 little missions, sort of, the first episode. And I wonder if they're going to do that for every subsequent episode, where it's, you know, 2 or 3 things that might actually be unfolding one after the other. But as we see with this first episode, you know, the debut sort of story is this missing panda cat they have to find because he's a little thief, and it all rounds together again by the end. You know, they need to somehow get their hands on food. They sort of sidle up the security guard Saito to have to pay for the food, but they have no dish to put his food in. And so how are they going to do that? And so all three of these stories are tied together with the central, you know, sort of beginning of that cat. And how are we going to keep the cat and support it and feed it and all this kind of stuff? And it rounds out so that the third mission has very much, you know, to do with that. And I really like that. I love that through line. Even though these are three sort of separate little mini adventures, it all rounds together again back to what began it all, you know. And so, I mean, I couldn't sing its praises more highly than I already have done in this video. Thoroughly had a blast watching the show, and I'm going to enjoy the hell out of it every week. I doubt I'm going to be covering it episodically in reviews or anything like that, because it seems like something that would be better served as just watching passively. I could see potentially doing write-ups over on my Facebook account or something like that if something, you know, happens that is minorly, you know, talkable, you know, something I could talk about. But if something spectacular happens, then I might be back to talk about it in videos. But I want to put it out there. I loved this. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below. If you've seen episode 1 of Mitsuboshi Colors, if you enjoyed it as well, if you got as much, you know, entertainment out of it as I did, if you warmed to the characters as immediately as I did, or not, love it or hate it, anything goes in the comments below. Our POVs can certainly disagree, and if you could not even get through the episode, I'd love to hear as to why, you know, that kind of thing. It's all about the topic of talk, as I always say, and so yeah. Otherwise, that'll be pretty much it for me on this. Hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.